We back, man. Game 5. Wow. Game 4. Oklahoma City Thunder, they pushed back into a crazy comeback. They win 111 to 104. SGA led the way with 35 points. Chet had 14 and 15. J-Dub had 27 and 7. He's actually been cooking up, went crazy in the fourth as well. Siakam had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 steals. Tyrese had 8 points, 7 assists. Obi Toppin, cooking. 17 points and 7 boards, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. As always, continue to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm Dolo today. Everybody is cooking up, working to, push everything forward for the better of the brand. Shout out to my guy Nas. Shout out my boy Rel. Shout out Cuddy. I know everybody's doing big things right now. So let's dive straight into it, man. Where do we start? I think we can start at the top with what I saw. What did this win really say about OKC? This was an ugly win for OKC. Productive. I feel like this really showed us that they, just like the Pacers, know how to get it out the mud. There were a few times throughout the game, I would say, especially in the first half, where OKC did a great job of keeping the lead close. I believe the first half ended, what was it? It ended like 59 to 57. Let me see what they had. 34, 23. Let me see real quick. I don't want to lie to you guys. We believe in the fact check. Grab this real quick. They had the end of the first half was 60 to 57, the Pacers. I don't know. I feel like when we're really looking at what's going on with both of these teams, it's clear that they can both win on each other's floor, which means the finals has really started. When we really look at to see the Pacers be able to fumble this game the way that they did was a little scary, but also to OKC's defense, when following a loss, they've been 5-0 in the postseason. So I'm not saying that this was a guaranteed win, but this is very characteristic for what the Thunder had to do to get done. I would say with Halliburton, we have to think about like what he needs to adjust. I feel like what I'm seeing in terms of his play. I think he's a great distributor. I think he does a great job of getting everyone involved. When he has 18 points and 7 assists in this loss, something that's really standing out to me with Halliburton, and I would say, is the fact that SGA is outscoring him in the fourth quarter of most games, right? Game 1, SGA had 12 to his 4. Game 2, Halliburton had 12 to his 7. Game 3, they had 3 apiece. But in game 4, SGA had 15 to Halliburton's 8. I feel like this is kind of what has everybody in a frenzy and trying to figure out, is Halliburton a star or a superstar? A lot of people are definitely recognizing the work that he's putting in, the control that he's putting on the offense in terms of pushing everybody forward. And I really feel like for him to become a superstar, he's going to have to dominate in the fourth quarter. To see SGA have an ugly game the way he did, ended with 35, and managed to have 15 points in the fourth, that screams superstar. Does Halliburton make clutch shots? He does, but he has to be able to put the entire game together. Now let's jump forward a little bit. I don't gotta take my words for it. Let's listen to a few of the things that the Pacers had to say. Share my screen with y'all real quick so you could get a little scoop on what they were talking about. Let's do that. Let's do that.
So it's definitely pretty cool.
Vince on the right.
Tyrese, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. This has been an emotional 4 games so far to this series with a lot of swings. With the way Game 4 ended and the disappointment of it, how do you flush that, if you flush it at all? How do you put that behind you mentally, emotionally?
Well, I mean, there's still a lot of games to be played. There's still a lot that can happen. I think once you get to the playoffs, I don't think it's so much about flushing things because you really got to take every game, see where you did well, see where you could do better, and learn from that. So I think in the regular season it's different. You play 82 games, play a team game 10 that you probably don't see again until game 60. So it's just like, all right, flush it and move on to the next. In the playoffs, it's a little different. You don't really get the right to flush games. You got to learn from everything and watch the film and see where you can get better in every area. So game 4 didn't end the way we wanted it to, but the biggest thing is you can't let one spiral into 2. You can't take the disappointment of that game and let it be a snowball effect. It's you got to be ready to go for game 5 here again, a hostile environment, and we're both 2 games away. So anything can happen from here, and so you just got to kind of move on as quickly as you can, see where you can get better, watch the film, which we've done a lot of over the last 2 days. Have a good practice today, and get ready to go for tomorrow.
Michael, hear you?
Tyrese, Michael Grange from Sportsnet in Toronto, and I'm just wondering, for a young team.
Quick sidebar. Just wanted to throw out there. When we look at how aggressive Tyrese Halliburton has not been in terms of getting to the free throw line, in the second quarter, I believe in the last minute, was his first free throw attempt of the NBA Finals. So think about that. This is their 4th game that they played going into their 5th tonight. So that shows you the pressure that he's putting on the rim, but how much more assertive he needs to be in terms of attacking the paint so that he can get to the free throw line, and potentially that puts him in a groove where he's able to score in a better rhythm.
What's impressed you, maybe even surprised you about the way your group has risen to the level of competition, the fatigue, that what's demanded of teams trying to win a title here in the finals?
Yeah, there's no surprises, to be honest with you. I know our group very well. I am proud of our resilience. We've had to find different ways to win, for the last 2-3 months. So proud of that. We just continue to respond. So, it's not the time to necessarily reflect on how the year's been. We still got a lot of work in front of us, but definitely excited about our group and look forward to continue to compete with these guys tomorrow.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Oh, skip that. Stop playing. What else we got? Yeah, we out here with the cricket Wi-Fi.
Joe.
I know a lot of these sound similar, but it's 2-2 series. And I'm just wondering how you feel about where you are right now, like whether you're trying to handicap
I hate these questions.
what's happened or what's to come, or just how you feel about it.
I feel great. That's the best part about playoff series is, when you get the chance to respond. I think that's the great thing about sports. It's you're gonna have good games, you're gonna have bad games, but there's nothing like the game to respond. So I look forward to doing that with this group and coming out and competing, and we got to be ready for a really big challenge that lies ahead with this team and in this environment. So I'm really looking forward to doing that with my teammates and seeing how we respond.
Tim on the left.
Tyrese.
All right. Shut this down for a second. I feel like we also have to take into big consideration the way that Nemhart is guarding SGA. Though SGA is still getting to his spots, still making tough buckets, I want to shout out Nemhart because I believe that he's putting on a masterclass in terms of how to defend a player that knows how to draw contact really well. So obviously we all know that SGA loves and knows how to get to his spots very well, but he also has the great job of knowing how to create contact with the shoulder. So he'll give you space even with the shoulder or sometimes even with the forearm, like he did Siakam. I think that was Siakam or Nemhart when Neesmith, I'm sorry, when he scored that go-ahead bucket to give them the first tie of the game. But Nemhart does a great job of absorbing that contact and being able to get SGA to waver his shot just a little bit. And that's the reason why sometimes he's missing these tough shots or shots that would be more comfortable for him. So I don't know, man. That bucket that SGA takes over Neesmith, I believe it was 222 in the fourth. Gets to his spot, shakes him down, gives him some forearm action for sure. Excuse me. And Scott Foster just sits there, doesn't call the foul. He chooses to let SGA dictate whether this shot is going to go in or not. I think it's a great no call by Scott Foster. Saw some people trolling on the gram saying it might have been a travel, but from what I looked at, the move definitely looked clean for sure. Let me see. Obi Toppin. I think when we look at having the role players do exactly what they're supposed to, game 3, Benedict Mathurin had 27. Obi Toppin had a great game 4 for the Pacers, being able to come down, have some great defensive stops over J-Dub, then coming back and hitting 2 threes back-to-back, and then cutting baseline and getting a two-hand slam in the paint with the assist from Siakam. This is a huge loss for the Pacers, man, because you go back 3-1 and you're in full control of what you were supposed to be having in terms of momentum and going into game 5. And it's just the free throws that Benedict Mathurin missed down the stretch as well, too. I think he missed 2 sets of free throws, I believe it was. This is just an ugly loss for the Pacers, and I really feel like Rick Carlisle, a.k.a. Jim Carrey, he figures out a way now to – we're going to see what his coaching bag really looks like. Mike Dagenau, I believe is how you pronounce OKC's coach. He did a great job of switching things back up. Took Case and Wallace out and now inserted Hartenstein back into the starting lineup with Chet. Chet had 14 points and 15 rebounds, like I said. Took some big bumps and bruises in that game 4. Fell over a couple times, got pushed, got hit in the shin, but was able to push through, show his strength, show his resilience. He was big for OKC down the stretch as well, too. And I want to give a shout out to J-Dub. I've been very critical of him. He showed me his tenacity. He's definitely increased his scoring over each game. I believe first game he had 14, 19, game 3, 26, and then in this game, 27. J-Dub literally has the skill set to get to the rim whenever he wants. I think that there are moments where he is the X factor because there's moments in the third quarter where SGA is sitting on the bench and J-Dub now runs the offense and gets everybody involved and is able to distribute and put everybody in their position and really just run the offense through him. When I look at J-Dub, he's like the split image for me of what James Harden was for OKC back in mid-2000s. Even though he wasn't the sixth man, he still has that impact. I know we use the word aggressive a ton in basketball, but if he's that consistently for the rest of this series, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Pacers. A lot. Now let's pivot over to OKC and listen to a little bit of what they had to say.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
Life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me to assist.
The match. Now that's a tomato.
I'm going crazy with these Caitlin Clark commercials, man. This game 5 tonight is gonna be insane. This is probably the one time that I think the Thunder actually do win this game. All right, we got Coach coming up.
First question on the left.
How we doing? Happy Father's Day to everybody who is a father.
First question here on the third row on the left.
Hi, Mark. Guilherme Giovannoni from ESPN Brazil. Last game, Pascal Siakam was playing very well through 3 quarters, but last quarter he had only 1 shot. There was a special adjustment, or you think that the pressure on the ball was enough to get him out of the game?
And none of our adjustments are really personnel specific against this team. As I've mentioned, you kind of have to, they play as a whole and as a unit, and you have to defend them as a whole and as a unit. And that's been our mentality against their team. And you just have to trust that if you do that, you can, limit as best you can the effectiveness of very good players like him, and even if you do that, they're going to get the best of you on certain possessions or certain nights, but we're doing the best we can.
Sam here.
Mark.
All right, Coach. Well, clearly, I mean, he did make a great adjustment for sure. If you're watching the game, you see that. I hope we all locked in.
Tim Reynolds, REAP. Happy Father's Day to you too.
Same to you.
When you're in the throes of it, like Indiana has the great finish in game 1. You guys have the great finish in game 4. Games 2 and 3 kind of went decidedly kind of one way in a lot of ways. It's been a really good 4 games, a lot of back and forth. When you're in it, can you appreciate that at all? Do you take even a second to say this has been a pretty good first 4 games?
I mean, we just appreciate the opportunity. We appreciate.
No, he doesn't appreciate that. He lost 2 games. What are you talking about? Lost the first game at home. Chat.
The opportunity to play, this deep into the season. If you're playing this deep into the season, your opponent is going to be really good. They've won 12 games to get to this point, just like we have. You just know it's going to be an unbelievable level. And there's definitely times in it where it's like, man, this is high level. And I've definitely felt that not only in this series, but in multiple series. But we're also trying to make the next best decision, win the next possession. So we're zoomed in on that as well.
All right, where's SGA at? Let's get a little SGA action in here. What's really scary about both of these teams, though, is like neither one of them can keep solid leads right now. More so the Pacers. After coming back in the first 3 games, they finally keep the lead until the final 2 minutes of the 4th and just struggle. Like, I knew for a fact that when OKC found a way to stay within no more, like, they kept it close. They stayed around that 10, 7, 5-point mark. Then we get to, I believe it's the end of the 3rd, they're down by 3. It's like, this just isn't good because OKC had no momentum until the end of the 3rd. And then the push that they go into with the 4th, it just overrode what the Pacers had going on. I mean, Carlisle's really just going to have to make some serious adjustments with that. Get up to this point. I wonder what y'all got on y'all parlays, man. How many y'all got SGA and Halliburton dropping tonight? Drop it in the chat if y'all got a second.
Tiring it is just not knowing how to prepare your body to play to mid to late June. It seemed like in Indiana there were some points where you looked fatigued and a little worn down. Where are you right now physically, mentally with playing this late?
Sidebar. I know y'all saw SGA's pops on the 520 pod with Jeff Teague and them. talking about, he said to Jeff T, give me a wife and I'll breed her. For any of y'all that don't know, Caribbean people say breed. Like, let me hit and I'll give her my genes and she'll be an MVP. Very wild moment. Say, I'm looking at Jeff T like, Jeff T tried to be cool about it. But he said, hey, Pops, like, hold it down. I'm trying to be cool, be respectful. My wife be watching the show. Like, that was wild. SJ Pops is wild, man.
Into the calendar for the first time in your life.
Yeah, it's a lot of games. It's tiring for sure, but every game's tiring. When you're giving your all, every possession, you're going to be tired. Right now. I don't think I'm the only one out there that's tired. But yeah, it's something new for a lot of us. A lot of us haven't been this late into this season. But I think above all, it's been very fun. It's been everything I dreamt it to be growing up. There's no other place in the world I'd rather be, and I'm grateful to be here. Thankful for the experience for sure.
Go, Dan, Joel, and Joe.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Before the last couple games, I think Alex had only played 30-plus minutes once or twice all year. Both.
Shout out to Caruso. Snagged 2 games and had 20. Wow. That's a hell of a role player, man. Lakers shouldn't have let him go.
The last 2 games, extended minutes for him. What does having him out there more do for you guys? Like, how do you talk about Dub making it easier for you? How does having Alex out there more make things easier for you?
Yeah, he's a gamer. You plug him in anywhere, any lineup. Feels like any group, he makes a difference, makes everyone else around him better. Everyone else around him. He's always talking. He always knows where we're supposed to be, where the other team's supposed to be. And he has instincts that are special. I don't think you teach things like that. Like he just knows where the ball's going, where a rebound's bouncing to, how to get a deflection, timely steals. Like he just has amazing feel for the game. And is an insane competitor. You add those 2 things together, and no matter where you drop him, no matter where you drop him in the world, any basketball game, he'll make a difference.
Joel.
Really do like that. So after we're done listening to these pressers in the 2 seconds, we're gonna wrap things up and just go into the last 2 things that we believe each team needs to do to make sure that they put a stamp on the win tonight. I'll let y'all get out of here.
With no minimums and no
Joel Lorenzi with the Oklahoma. Shai, the roles that Dub and Chet have in the series are not unprecedented. Being responsible for so much, so early in their careers, clearly a lot. Like I wonder what you sense they learned in that Dallas series last year in terms of how to handle being schemed so heavy against in a playoff series, the sort of game-to-game temperament you got to keep, and sort of how to bounce back over the course of a series.
I think
I love the fact that SGA, he really be contemplating these answers. I love that.
Like what they've done a really good job of is just like getting better, I think through 2 series last year, through the whole season, and then the 3 series leading up to this one, like they just used every opportunity to get better, and because of that, they focus on that because that's what they've taken care of. They've been ready for the opportunity and excelled in the moment. So I think that above all, they've really hammered home. Like as long as you're gonna go through experiences, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna succeed in some, but figuring out how to learn how to learn and get better is what's really gonna help you ultimately get where you want to get to.
Joe.
So I'm gonna say this. I believe that tonight is really gonna be contention upon how much SGA gets everyone else involved, because there are going to be moments where he's out the game and the team is going to have to pick up the slack. Tonight, I see J-Dub actually having another big game between 25 to 30. Caruso will probably be in that 10 to 15 range potentially. I do see Chet having another double-double. I think that'll be important. I wonder what Wiggins looks like tonight because he is a huge plus when he's on. I believe that first or second game he had 18 points and he was amazing. I mean, has not declined, but hasn't played that well since then. But I look to him to have a solid game tonight as well, too. And my point in saying this is as long as SGA gets everyone else involved, he can take them home. Like there are different moments in the game where Dagenhall, I believe that's how his name is driving me crazy. Dagenhall, he's resting SGA because of how many defenders the Pacers are throwing at him. They have Neesmith, they have Nembhard. Shepherd even jumps in there sometimes. Siakam gets in there. So it's been a super physical series, but as long as SGA isn't just patting the rock all game and everybody is just watching, the Thunder probably do take this game. But if I'm the Pacers, I would say tonight needs to be a strong scoring night for Tyrese Halliburton. I'm talking a 30-point type of game. Siakam needs to be under Tyrese tonight because it's time for Tyrese to have that game. Like when the Pacers played the Knicks and Tyrese had that triple-double game with no turnovers, that type of game tonight. Doesn't necessarily have to be a triple-double, but dominance is what we need to see tonight. They need to make their free throws. The Pacers need to make their free throws down the stretch. Keep that defense solid. And maybe Siakam has another night where he had 5 steals. 4 in the first quarter in game 4. So as long as they can apply pressure defensively, they can find a way to stick in this game. But the Thunder are bringing out the big guns tonight. I see this being a dominant win by the Thunder if the Pacers don't get their stuff together. And if Tyrese doesn't have that 30-point game, like I said, then it happens to be slow tonight, y'all. So I say tonight, though I want the Pacers to win the series, tonight is a dominant win by the Thunder unless Tyrese Halliburton has the 30-point win and has the help from either a Benedict or an OB or TJ McConnell to help them get the win tonight. So as always, continue to like, share, subscribe. Love y'all for tapping in and, hit us in the DM. Let us know at the What's Bruin Show. What's on your mind? What's your thoughts for the game? What parlays y'all putting in? How you guys are seeing the game from a visual aspect? Things that we should talk about for a recap of this game. We'll probably recap this tomorrow. And as always, love.